never seen myself as just one thing, and I made sure no one else could either. By staying true to myself, making my own path, rising above expectations, and opening the door for others to be their true selves. The first spirit, made with VSOP Cognac, finished in bourbon casks, Martell Blue Swift, soar beyond the expected.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. I am Illuminati, and this is the Crypto and Cognac podcast. As always, I am lubricated. I am refreshed. I'm hydrated by my friends at Martell Cognac, my guys at Massy Connoisseur. And tonight, I'm finishing off this bottle of Blue Swift VSOP. And then, if the night goes well, we're going to top it up with some VS. Guys, as always, welcome to the podcast. Super excited about our conversation this evening. Exciting times ahead, What's up, Steven? What's up, Steve? Always happy to have you, buddy. Guys, it's officially post-carnival. If I'm looking a little more melanated than usual, it's because I spent 2 days in the hot sun, almost 100,000 steps, getting in that cardio. The belly still didn't exactly disappear, but we are back at it. And today we're going to be talking a bit about how crypto is perceived around the world, what the different governments, what the different regions think of crypto from a policy perspective, from a regulatory perspective, from a financial environment perspective. And we're going to just touch on all of that, and we're going to have a nice conversation about all of that, because it often feels like, as it relates to the East and the West, as it relates to the US and China, these guys just simply choose their position on crypto and blockchain based on whatever is opposing or opposite to what the other one is doing at a particular point in time. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to touch a little bit on Africa as well, right there in the middle. We're going to touch a little bit on Russia as well, right there in the middle. And of course, we're going to bring it home to the Caribbean, and we're going to talk a little bit about how the Caribbean is treating with crypto and blockchain. As always, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I've been one in the past. That is not my work. You understand what I'm telling you? So nothing that I say here this evening, nothing that we discuss here this evening should be misconstrued as financial advice. I drinking cognac. I am not giving cognac advice. You understand? Even though I'm telling all you, Martell is a thing, right? But do say I'll send you to buy any particular crypto. That's right, Stephen. Always the ICE rule. It's all about information, conversation, and of course, education. Because that's what we're here to do, right? We're all here to learn. I'm here to learn from you guys. You guys are here to learn from me. And we're here to learn about crypto and blockchain together. Because at the end of the day, you all know what I believe more than anything in this world. Adoption is inevitable. That's the facts. That's how the things stay, right? So, where do we even start? Where do we even start? I mean, we go back and forth, but I think the thing that is most consistent is the regularity in which China takes the position to ban crypto. Right, so we're gonna talk a little bit about the last time they went about doing that, and how that looked, and that was in 2021. Now every time China bans crypto, it makes headlines, right? Everybody gets excited. All the news outlets start posting about it. They start talking about it. But the fact is that China isn't the only country in the world that has banned crypto. I mean, there's maybe 15, 20 different countries that have outright banned crypto. But because at one point in time, China held the most Bitcoin mines and held the most of the Bitcoin hash rate was produced there. I mean, when they do certain things, also having 1 billion people, a huge economy, the second largest economy in the world, when they do things just like the US, it becomes news. So in 2021, they started the process again, and basically they went about it with 3 different phases, right? So first off, they started prohibiting financial institutions from engaging in any crypto transaction. That was in May. Then in June, they banned all domestic crypto mining, right? And then finally in September of that year, 2021, they outright banned cryptocurrencies, right? And, we who've been in this space for a while, we always make a joke about the fact that, yeah, China banned crypto again. Yeah, it's gonna happen again next year. It's gonna happen again in the next few months. But like I said, that happened in 2021, and then we've seen somewhat of a change in perspective, because what we had in 2021 was the US seemed to be moving forward very positively as it relates to crypto. And that may have had a lot to do with the fact that people like SBF was getting in very comfortably with certain politicians across both sides of the political aisle in the US. And as a matter of fact, just I think yesterday, new criminal charges were brought against him for his role in political donations and political financing. So basically what he did, he conspired with 2 of his employees, 2 executives of FTX, one to donate towards left-leaning candidates, one to donate towards right-leaning candidates, Republicans that is. And it was all done with the goal of shirking limits to donations, right? And clearly the guy had a plan. So now he's facing additional charges, criminal charges. And I think maybe the steps that we saw taken by the SEC recently, with the heavy-handed crackdown on crypto exchanges, may have been to kind of preempt the fallout from this news, these charges being laid, because it almost seemed like, to avoid any talk that would come from this, they tried to say, we have a handle on things now, we are managing crypto now, so you guys don't be worried. It seemed like a lot of overkill, to be honest. And that happened last week. So we're talking 6 days ago. I mean, if you guys go to the Crypto Today videos, we did a video on Kraken. We did a video on a couple different things as it relates to that crackdown. So go check out those videos. But this week, what we're seeing is a seemingly softening of the East position on crypto, as we see in Hong Kong's Securities and Futures Commission, the SFC, has started a consultation process for licensing crypto exchanges to serve retail investors. Now, the SFC spent the last few years working on consultation plans for professional or accredited investors in that region, and that is actually supposed to go live in June 1st. And I think all of that has created a lot of positive sentiment in the market, and we've seen the market respond to that. And I think what is even more bullish in terms of that news is that it seems that this move is actually being supported by mainland China. And as a matter of fact, some are saying that this is actually a blessing because China can now study Hong Kong's approach to crypto, much like it learned from Hong Kong as it relates to open markets. So a lot of people are saying, yeah, I mean, this is actually a great thing for the space, and the markets are responding favorably as a result of that, right? Let me take a drink. Now, China has continued to press forward, even though they've banned Bitcoin mining, they've banned cryptocurrencies in general. They have actually been pushing forward with their own CBDC, which utilizes blockchain technology. Their distributed ledger technology industry is growing quite vibrantly. So it seems like they have a love-hate relationship with the industry, because on one hand they love the technology and they're interested in the technology, and the next hand they don't like the currency side and the fact that there's a lot of speculation on it. They claim they have concerns about the environmental impact of Bitcoin mining and the Bitcoin network. Has anyone ever seen what's going on in China as far as pollution? Imagine they had to shut down certain industries for the Olympics to take place there. But anyway, they say mining. That's where they draw the line, Bitcoin mining. Anyway. But also they claim that fraud and money laundering is also one of their concerns. The old song and dance that we're used to. But they've actually been pushing ahead with distributed ledger technology. We expect to see the digital one be rolled out this year. So we'd love to see how that impacts the space. And I think we've seen that President Xi has openly endorsed blockchain development in China. He did that as far back as 2019, and I think he and the Chinese leadership are very much not interested in being left behind in any kind of technological advancement taking place in the world. So because of that, I think we're going to see this continued softening. No, don't get too excited. Like I said, Hong Kong has just started consultation, right? So we're not talking about anything that's probably going to be rolled out this year as far as retail customers is concerned. But we're going to see what happens as it relates to the professional investors this year. We're going to see where the consultation goes, and then we're probably going to see something happen in a couple of years. But it is rumored that there are over 30,000 blockchain companies in China, and as a matter of fact, blockchain was very, very evident and part of the process in terms of them managing their COVID outbreak. So I think the country also holds the largest number of patents in blockchain technology. So I mean, there's a lot of positives to look at in terms of what is happening in the East as it relates to blockchain. As Sam Olsen said, who is a commentator on Chinese-Western relations. He says the world is hungry for more connectivity, and China is satisfying that demand. And we know that if it's one thing that blockchain technology has the capacity for, is connecting people, whether that's through payments, whether that's through messaging, whether that's through other forms of financial interaction. So I think we're going to see a lot of more exciting things coming out of China, but it's not just China. As when we talk about the East, we're talking about South Korea, we're talking about Japan, we're talking about Singapore. And a lot of these countries have been very, very progressive as it relates to blockchain and cryptocurrency over the years. I mean, as a matter of fact, Singapore has almost wholeheartedly embraced the innovation. We see tons of companies being headquartered there, crypto companies that is. We've seen crypto-friendly initiatives, for example, the Monetary Authority of Singapore. We've seen the Payment Services Act enacted back in January 2022, which was introduced to serve as a new regulatory framework for cryptocurrency payments. So, like I said, it's not just China. China is the biggest and the, always gonna make the news, but we are seeing a lot of favorable initiatives, a lot of favorable sentiment coming out of the East in general as it relates to cryptocurrency. Now, on the other hand, we're seeing the EU and the US lawmakers push for better and sometimes more stringent regulations. And like I've said a few times, I am not opposed to regulations. I think it's very, very important, especially as a means of clarifying the space so that people could operate in the space clearly. I think for institutions to be more active, for certain high net worth individuals to participate in the space, I think we're going to definitely need to see more and more clear regulations, because I think what it does is basically just let people know what's up. How do I operate? Do I go left? Do I go right? Without any street lights, I don't know if I have to stop here, right? Without any traffic lights, without any street signs. So sometimes all you need is that clarity so that you can operate. What's up, Onika? Yes, even I mean, Singapore definitely has become a crypto haven. I've worked with a couple projects out of Singapore. Shout out to the 𝐒𝐻𝐈𝐍 team. El Salvador. I mean, we're definitely going to touch on El Salvador as one of those countries that is in the Americas, technically in the West, that is very, very pro crypto, going so far as to make crypto legal tender. The Central African Republic is the first country in Africa, and I think the second country in the world after El Salvador to designate Bitcoin as legal tender. They have had some fallout as it relates to that because of a partnership group that they are in as it relates to Africa. But as we talk the Central African Republic and we talk Africa a little bit, Africa is a bit of a conundrum as it relates to crypto, because Africa is one of the fastest growing crypto markets in the world, right? And that's based on Chainalysis information, Chainalysis data. But it still remains one of the smallest in terms of crypto transactions. So high growth, small number. And this is why, for me, I think Africa is the next frontier. I mean, if you're building crypto projects, honestly, and not looking at targeting the African market, I think you're missing a huge opportunity. As of mid 2021, I think it's when they hit the heights of their transaction volume, and only talking about $20 billion per month. Just for context, OpenSea was doing those kind of numbers at its height, right? But we're seeing that high number of adoption, especially as it relates to places like Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, specifically, mainly for payments, mainly for remittances. I mean, I have a couple of friends out there in Africa, in Nigeria, and it's crazy to me. It's easier for me to send them funds using crypto as compared to, let's say, Western Union or wire transfer. Sometimes, you need to help somebody out, and the impact that we could have with 50 US, it doesn't make financial sense to try to send 50 US via Western Union, because the fees are going to basically leave them with a few $20 less, or maybe even more. I've not tried it, I've just heard about it. But you send some crypto over the Algorand network, over BSC network, even over Ethereum when fees are low, and we're talking about you send $50, that person gets $50, your charge a couple of cents, if so much. So yeah, for sure. I mean, Stephen, sorry. Crypto is probably gonna undermine the SWIFT system if the banks don't get their act in order and maybe start using blockchain to support some of their transfers themselves, because I think the need for instant payment is growing as the world demands more and more immediacy. We're used to microwaves and instant messaging and FaceTime and air fryers now and all this kind of stuff. Nobody wants to wait 4 days for funds to be cleared. Nobody wants to wait 3 months. No store owner or business owner wants to wait 3 months or 6 months to wonder if somebody who purchased something from them is going to pull it back using their credit card. So I think as we evolve and as human beings demand more out of their banking services, it's just a matter of time. You all already know. So that's Africa. Russia. Let's talk Russia for a little bit. So Russia is another interesting case study as it relates to crypto. So Russia has not always been very positive towards crypto. They actually had a very anti-crypto stance, but then early last year, they jumped out themselves, they invaded Ukraine and felt the backlash of all these sanctions. And this basically crippled Russia's access to the world banking system. Now, all of a sudden, the idea of an anonymous, low-cost method of payments across international borders that specifically seems to threaten the US dollar's privileged position as the world reserve currency starts looking real interesting, right? And now we've seen Moscow is actively turning to crypto, planning a digital ruble. Early this year, actually, it was supposed to be rolled out early 2023. So maybe we'll see it in this first quarter, or maybe we'll see it in the first half of this year. And they are actually very, very interested in using crypto technology, blockchain technology, to help modernize their financial services environment, their financial services system. So, I mean, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I mean, and yes, and they definitely have the support of the BRICS nations, you know, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. And we're seeing them being more and more interested in having a currency that is not necessarily put them at risk of the influence of the US, because everybody, despite everybody watching Russia sideways and saying, yo, what are you all doing? You all invaded Ukraine. Everybody is still very, very wary of, you know, anytime they make any political missteps, that what they see happening with Russia right now could potentially be their experience, right? Because imagine you decide, and let me just be calling name. Imagine it was India that had invaded Syria, right? And they get cut off from the global financial system. What does that do to their economy? So I guess fortunately, all the other invasions taking place in the world, you know, are being carried out by Western nations, you know. But I digress. Let's not talk too much politics. Let me have a drink for that. So yeah, I mean, it's very, very interesting that we're actually seeing that crypto has started shifting from the fringes of financial markets towards, you know, a more long-lasting place as an alternative in people's portfolios. And I think it's something that it's just a matter of time. We've seen it happen before with mutual funds. We've seen it happen before with the idea of VCs. I mean, initially when mutual funds came into place, I mean, we're talking about, I think that was in the 1970s somewhere. It was a small number, you know, it was 11 million, somewhere around there, in assets will be managed as mutual funds. Now we see mutual funds accounting for $400 billion in assets. So, oh, well, index funds, that is, as a whole. So it's very, very interesting to kind of be at this particular point in the history of this industry, the history of this technology, and wonder whether, you know, us as crypto disruptors will ever succeed in having a meeting of the eyes as it relates to regulators, and have us take a unified approach to managing this nascent industry, this new technology, and maybe having more success than we saw big tech have. y'all don't even understand how Stephen is be gassing me up. I mean, let me show Stephen, you like that shit today. But yeah, I mean, very exciting times. And back home here in the Caribbean, we've seen multiple countries kind of take the position that, you know, we're gonna wait and see. We're not gonna call it illegal, but we're not gonna necessarily say that it's illegal. We continue to battle with the commercial banks who've taken very much an adversarial approach. But we also see a lot of these central banks in the region looking into their own CBDCs. We're seeing more and more digital payments companies coming into the space. We're seeing, you know, digital banks like Sagicor Digital Bank out in Barbados. We're seeing new e-money issuers coming out of Trinidad and Tobago. We're seeing CBDCs being piloted in Jamaica and the Eastern Caribbean, and we're seeing blockchain companies growing and thriving in Barbados, like Bit Global, and we're seeing Bahamas becoming, became a hub for innovation in the region. I mean, that has taken a bit of a step back, unfortunately, thanks to Mr. SBF himself. But I think all in all, I think it's very, very positive. I mean, we have a huge, vibrant community in the region as it relates to crypto. So I think crypto has a lot of great potential for growth, and hopefully, as we have more and more conferences and sit downs like we had last week with the Draper Startup House hosting, where we had people from the financial services industry like banks and insurance companies and investment companies coming together with the regulator like central bank, and then they having panels on Web3 with people like myself, people like Creator Labs, Stephen Hadid, people like Z Labs, Mark Pereira. I think all of these type of conversations really do bode well for the regional space. I think it's just necessary for us to continue those conversations, continue these educational conversations, this sharing of information, you guys coming here, sharing your perspectives, going out there, sharing these videos with your friends, family, not for them to come and invest in anything. And that's what I always try to remind people of, like, you don't risk money that you don't have to lose, but it costs you nothing to spend 1 hour a day, 1 hour a week, 1 hour a month learning about this new technology, instead of watching the latest Netflix rom-com or the latest, what is call them things, reality TV show. Learn about something that might actually help you with your financial future. Learn about the financial systems that you are part of, because trust me, when you start going down the rabbit hole of crypto, it forces you to now say, well, what if they're saying this over here, then what is the reality that is opposing to that? And all of a sudden you start looking at your banking system and you start saying, wait, whoa, I didn't realize that this is how this works, and why are they doing it this way? And that's what we need. We need more people asking the hard questions so that we can force the people in charge to answer those questions and give us the information that we basically need so that we can make informed decisions. Because I'm telling you that crypto blockchain may not be the best alternative for everyone, right? Not everyone has the risk tolerance that I have. Right in my household, my fiance doesn't have the same risk appetite that I do, right? But it doesn't mean that you're limited from getting that information. So start off learning. I always tell people, forget about the Doge coins, buy the Moj coins, buy the Hurge coins. Start with Bitcoin, understand the original intent, understand why it was started, what caused the financial crash of 2008, what happened with Lehman Brothers, why the government had to step in and bail those guys out, what they did with the bailout money, what caused the real estate market crash in the first place, and then start understanding why Bitcoin was created in the first place, what the technology does, understanding that blockchain technology by itself is not the value proposition. It's this decentralized, distributed ledger technology that is transparent, that is immutable, that is censorship resistant. All of that together is what creates this paradigm shifting technology that I personally think can do such great things for the world, So there's some great outside of the Crypto and Cognac podcast. Start with season 1, which is on my Instagram, Illuminati333. Then season 2 and 3 are on YouTube. You could start there, but there are amazing people like Crypto Casey. There is Andreas. I know I'm gonna mess it up. Antonopoulos. Andreas anti something. You're gonna find it. He is. I mean, when you talk about somebody who can explain Bitcoin and the value proposition around it from a technical standpoint, amazing. In terms of understanding the value proposition around Bitcoin in this macroeconomic environment, especially for business people and institutions, I don't think anybody does it better than Michael Saylor. If you want to learn about NFTs, there are people like Elio Trades. I mean, there's so much information that is available for free. Guys, please, 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 please. Shout out to Ingrid Riley. Thanks for that, Stephen. Ingrid and they are doing the Future of Caribbean Money Conference coming up again soon next month. Very excited to be a part of that. But yeah, there are a lot of people sharing information and knowledge about this space in the Caribbean. So yeah, just keep your head down. It's free. The information is free. And hit me up on social. I'm open and excited to share information, have conversations. If you want me to come and talk somewhere, if you want me to come and answer questions somewhere, feel free, because that's how we're gonna get this information out there and really influence change. Anyway, I digress. So, in summation, guys, like I said, right now, the West seems very much taking a hard line on cryptocurrency. The East seems to be softening their stance. We may see an inversion of that soon, where China might ban crypto again, Hong Kong might ban crypto, and then all of a sudden the West is back in the game, right? Because one of their big companies wants to participate. So they're going to continue playing with our heads, playing with our minds, changing the narrative while they continue to accumulate. I'm not telling you to buy any crypto, but do your own research so that you can make an informed decision based on your personal circumstances. That's the best advice I could give. And that ain't financial advice. But what can I say? Thank you for being with me on this Thursday after Carnival, where I'm tired and I'm a little more melanated. But it was a great season. Maybe next year we'll be here talking about, how blockchain has been implemented into several different facets of Carnival, right? I'm very excited. Guys, tell a friend to tell a friend. Show me. I would love to help every single company, every single promoter, every single Carnival band, every single government organization, from the NCC to the Panorama Association, help them to see how blockchain technology could help improve this great product that we have. But I digress. Guys, thank you for being with me. As I say always, adoption is inevitable. Illuminati out. Be blessed.